Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Matt again. Today we're going to do a masterpiece size third-party transformer review. These guys have already been out for quite a while. At least at this point, we have Brawl and Swindle. Onslaught's going to be coming out soon. I've actually had these in my possession for a while, but I figured, hey, with Onslaught coming out, let's take a look at the other two members that we already have. So this is going to be Magic Square MS-03 Heavy Gunner. This is their masterpiece scale Bruticus, their Combaticon team. So this is their Brawl. This is actually quite a large box. This is the first member that came out, but we've got some nice art on the front. Whatever stuff on the side, kind of their classic kind of stuff going on. There's his tech specs if you care about any of that and whatnot. He's also going to come with, of course, his set of instructions and his fancy card in his sleeve. And here he is, a big old tank. Of course, he comes in his robot mode, but, I like to start my videos off in vehicle mode, so here he is. And of course, I am a Toon guy. I really like Toon. I like everyone complains about not having enough greebles and details and stuff, but I actually love the way that this looks. But this entire thing is painted, which is really, really nice. The only parts I don't think are painted are probably the gray parts. They are just kind of like that bare plastic sheen, but he cleans up really nice. I do also have their legend scale version of this figure and the entire Bruticus set, so I'm familiar with these guys. But he looks really nice. Pretty big tank. He's a masterpiece scale, so he's pretty big. He does have wheels on the undersides of the treads, and the tank part here, or the actual cannon part here, can move up and down, and of course the entire thing can rotate all the way around. But yeah, these parts here, these little spotlights here, these are separate. They come in a little bag. These things are an absolute nightmare to try to get in here. I ended up actually having to take a hobby knife and kind of whittle down the hole and really push them in there. Otherwise, I would have taken them off to show you that they were separate pieces that don't come attached to them in box. But they are an absolute nightmare to get in there. Be very careful you don't snap those tabs off because it is extremely tight. They didn't really account for the paint for those. But he does, of course, come with a whole bunch of other stuff because he is, masterpiece, and he does combine. But he is going to come with his gun, and it does have this little flip out handle for when he is in bot mode. But with this little port here, you can plug it into right up top of the turret, and it is a little tight, but you can plug it in there. He's also going to come with his little anti-air kind of dual cannon type of deal, and they do rotate here at the base of the barrels, so you can move them there. And they do also have this flip out handle, unlike the Legends scale version. You can actually flip out the handle and move these down, and you can actually hold it like a gun, which is cool because the Legend size one, it just ends up being something you toss aside if he's not in vehicle mode. So it's nice that they give you that option. So we'll fold that back up, and with these two little pegs right here, they will peg in right here and right here on the back of his tank, like so. So then you can put his little anti-air gun on the actual vehicle, which is very cool. And he's also going to come with, of course, his huge combiner foot. There's a lot of people that have been complaining about the color of the foot. This is definitely going to be kind of like the toy deco is their basic release. They didn't include the green foot that he would normally have as his Toon look. I don't personally agree with that. I feel like what they're doing is not the greatest tactic in the world. Magic Square has been known for doing this. They release an unpainted version and that has issues, and then later on down the line they release a fully painted version, which is nice and cleaned up. It's kind of a business model that I'm not the biggest fan of, but you never know if they're going to release a newer, updated version, so you end up getting hit with FOMO or just completely miss out on the figure if you don't buy the first release. Kind of unfortunate the way that they do that, but it's Magic Square. We're used to it at this point. But they did already announce that they're going to be making a Toon pack. So basically, when Onslaught's going to come with the toy deco chest plate. Swindle, of course, comes with another one of these, the toy deco feet. So I guess that they're going to be releasing a Toon version of all the combiner parts for an extra amount of money. If you want to do that, I'm probably not going to bother with it. I'm perfectly fine with the toy deco type of look for all the combiner parts, but I can see how that would irritate a lot of people. And I'm irritated for you, trust me. That is kind of unfortunate that they chose to do it that way. But this is the toy deco foot that you're going to end up getting with Brawl. And I'm not going to go over this too much. I'm not going to bother combining it or like putting him in his combiner mode, because I'm just going to wait to do that until I have all of them together, and then I will make a separate video for that. But it does have the Legends scale version was just the foot, and then these plates you ended up getting with, I believe you got them with Onslaught. But in the Masterpiece scale, you get it's kind of all together attached with this hinge, and this part will fold out, and it is a little scary to clip it together, but this whole thing is going to be attached. I'm sorry with the jingling. My cat is cleaning herself on her condo right next to me. But obviously you're going to have a joint here, a nice solid ratchet for the ankle. The toe is going to have a nice ratchet here and another ratchet here. So you're going to have a decent amount of posability. Of course, it's going to be just like the Legend scale version. So yeah, but that's the combiner foot, and rant over. And I punched in a little bit because we're going to transform him. And much like the Legend scale version, these guys are a little bit of a nightmare to transform. They're not too bad. They're definitely not like X-Transbots level of terrible, but they can be a little bit much. So first what we're going to do is we're going to lift this part up, and then these sections here are going to pull off from the sides like so. These are going to really chew up my hands, I just know it. This part on this dual hinge will just kind of come out like so. And then down here, they do still use the dovetails like how they do on the Legends ones. I feel like it definitely works better on the Legends ones just because there's a little bit more flex to it. It's definitely scarier on these big Masterpiece ones because it is hard plastic. But you're going to have to kind of flex down like this to get that part to pop off of that section. And it is a little scary because I don't want to scratch the paint, but just kind of flex down like that and pull off of it. Scary. I'm not really a fan of that. Definitely wish they just kind of clipped in. But here we're going to pull off of these tabs and kind of open up on these dual hinges. Right now we're going to spend a lot of time just kind of opening everything up. These parts down here, I'm going to go ahead and collapse these. So on this little panel here, just rotate that in and it will collapse up against here, and then this panel will fold down, moving this all down like that. Move this out to the side. This whole section will come up and rotate in like that and kind of set in that little crevice. So we'll do that on the other side. Move that tab in, move that tab down, and move that up like so. This tread piece will we're going to pull up on it, and it'll detach from right here and right here. There we go. Pop that up off of there. We're just going to leave that floating there for a bit. Same thing here. Like that. And like that. This whole thing is very tight because of all the paint. All right. We're going to come down here, and we're going to just go ahead and split the legs. They're attached on multiple different pegs all along this, and I think I'll have to get my spudger. All right, so we're gonna kind of separate all of this. Good Lord, it's tight. There we go. Okay. Unpeg everything. It pegs in here, and this big round peg, that was the problem child that pegs in there. So we're going to kind of just open these up a little bit to get them out of the way. And then this whole panel section here will kind of lift up off of that peg and then pull forwards, extending this part here. We'll do that on both sides. Lift those up like so. These parts here we will just take off of this little peg right here. Again, I'm going to need my tool. Lift up off of that. These will rotate out, and then this whole panel will come back down and peg in down here. Same thing here. Lift up off of that, rotate out, peg in down there, and I guess we'll go ahead and do the foot real quick. So this section here will lift up off of this tab, then rotate around, and then that little gray tab will tab in right here, like so. And then the foot will come out like this, and then this little section here, you can get your finger in there. This here will come out and around like this. I'm gonna leave that out of the way. Same thing here, unpeg from there, rotate around, and peg back in. This section comes down. This section comes out like that. All right, now this whole area, or let's actually get this right here. So leaving this little gray part up like this, it's important so you get clearance here. This tiny little square section here will lift out like that, freeing up this section, which will rotate out, and then this other square section needs to rotate past that little dovetail like that, and then peg together up here like this. So same thing on this side. This section comes up, rotate out, and then this whole thing here comes out and pegs in like that. And then these will just kind of set out to the side, because now this whole section will come down like this on this dual hinge, like so. And then, let's see, and then this section here, we're actually going to need to rotate this around like this to get it out of the way of this thing here. And then this whole thing just kind of goes up like that, and it should sit like this on the inside here. And then this section will kind of pull off of this slider, and then you want to, with the right clearance here to get past the thigh, this is going to open like this and extend. We're going to kind of leave that off to the side, because this now we're going to collapse up like this. And now make sure that doesn't, you want to keep this detached because we need to get clearance on this part. So now this, on this dual hinge, will come down kind of over everything, and then these two tabs will go onto this panel like, if it'll line up correctly, like that. Everything clips together, and then this section here will rotate up, and it will just kind of push along that, kind of locking everything in place. And then this section with these two little dovetails here, you just push that all together, and that kind of seals everything up. And then the little foot just rotates to the side, and then you need to angle the thigh in the correct orientation, and that is a leg. A lot of work to get these little legs all collapsed together. So moving all this up, rotating this around. Oops, I actually completely forgot about this thing here. This needs to come out, so then this little flap can come out. This comes down and pushes all together like that. This comes down, locks that in place. This flap here folds down like so. And then all tabs together. And then this tabs together like that. Foot goes in, leg gets straightened out. There we go. All right. So now this whole waist section needs to rotate around like this, and I bumped the camera. And then we're just going to kind of leave everything like so with the legs. Let me pan the camera up so you can see the top section, because now we're going to start on that. So this panel here below the turret needs to slide out on this joint like so. Oh, I forgot. See, here's another thing with these dovetails. This part is probably the scariest part because the dovetails kind of clip up in, and it's kind of scary to have to kind of lift and pull down at the same time. It just doesn't really work very well with this hard plastic. But you slide this down, and we're just going to kind of let this float to get out of the way. And then here, with what will be the arms, they're going to unpeg from right here and down here, like so. And then there's kind of like a little double joint system here, which allows you to get the shoulder part out and out of the way. So same thing, pull them out and out of the way. And then the two torso sections are going to come down like this. You're going to want to kind of lift these out to get them out of the way, because you want them out like this so that we can start to work with this in here. So now this whole center section will push out on a little slider here and then rotate down, and then this whole section will rotate up so the head comes out, and then we can fold these down on this second joint like so, and they'll kind of pop in place. And then this whole front section, or here we'll start with this back part, this will fold down on the first section, and then the second part will fold down on a separate joint back here and kind of collapse on the inside of the shoulder parts, or the torso parts. And then this section will rotate up so that you can collapse these and peg them into either side of that. And then with the two dovetail sections here, you will kind of push that up and lock it all in place. And then you want to rotate the arms out to the second position, and then the head in position, and then the back part here will lift up and collapse up like this, and all peg together, and then we can push the cannon down. Okay, we can collapse the waist. And then for the arms, we're going to pull them out, and then this whole panel, we're going to have to rotate it down a little bit. This panel here will lift off of this section, and then we can rotate his fist out like so, and then collapse that all back together and rotate his arm around. There's one arm, then the other arm, pull it down, lift that section off. Come on. And then rotate his fist out, collapse that together, rotate around, and there he is. There is Brawl. Oh man, masterpiece stuff. It's always a pain to transform, at least for me anyways. But there he is. I'll angle the camera down a little bit more so you can get a good look at him. But let me clean him up a little bit and then we'll take a better look at him. Alright, so there he is, all transformed. Obviously, he looks absolutely immaculate. It looks fantastic. Just like he stepped right out of the cartoon. I really, really like the way that he looks. The paint looks really nice on him. He's just all in all looks really complete and cleaned up. Even everything like on the back, it looks like it cleans up really nice. The legs collapse really good. There's just really nothing bad that I can say about him. I think he looks absolutely fantastic. But kind of get a better look at like his face and everything. Let's see. Obviously, he's pretty big, so it's kind of hard for me to show him off on my little recording area, but he looks really good. But let's do real quick, just before I start messing with him too much, let's do some size comparisons. Here he is with Magic Square's 2.0 version of their Optimus and Takara's MP36, I believe, Megatron, the official Masterpiece Megatron. How about here he is with Crimson Wings, Deformation Space, their Starscream, and we have the official Masterpiece Sideswipe. Here's Fans Toys Soundwave and the Takara Masterpiece Prowl. And just for shits and giggles, here he is with the original Legend Scale Bruticus. There's his Legend size Brawl down there. I didn't feel like untransforming everything just to show him with his Legend Scale guy. I mean, he's just a smaller version of him. So there he is next to the Legend Scale version. Okay, so let's go over articulation. So, up with the head, we have a joint here in the base of the neck, which allows you to get like way, way far up, a little bit down, nothing side to side. Well, maybe a little bit. I think that's just a little bit of looseness on the joint itself. But you can also rotate at the neck 360 degrees, which is nice. The torso has kind of like a pseudo butterfly joint, I suppose, which allows you to get in a bit, out a bit. And then, of course, there's a ratchet up here in the shoulder, which allows you to get pretty far out, which is great. Very tight, though. You can rotate at the shoulder all the way around. You can rotate at the bicep, and then we have just a single joint at the elbow, but it gets you a little bit more than 90 degrees. We have a little mushroom peg here at the wrist, so you can rotate that all the way around. And then we have a nice little joint here in the palm, which allows you to move the hands in and out. We have a ball joint at the base of the thumb, and then just a single joint here at the thumb. And then every one of the little knuckles here has a little ball joint, so you can move these around however you want to. And then there's a single joint at each individual finger, so you can get a lot of posability out of the hands, which is very nice. Get that all back together. All right. We do have an ab crunch, a very nice ab crunch all the way forwards, and of course back quite a bit because it is a kind of a dual joint here. Speaking of the back, we actually have the cannon, of course, can still move and kind of pivot out of the way a little bit, so you can get it out of the way for posing. Now down here at the legs, we have the rear skirts here can move out of the way for the legs, and the side skirts here can also move. But the front skirt parts here are actually attached to the leg. So basically the way this works is the leg is on its own little hinge here. And with this, I mean, I'll go ahead and show you this. They can rotate out all the way on that ratchet here. And they can rotate back all the way, you know, limited kind of by the turret here, but they can rotate back all the way. And they can't really rotate much forwards on that joint, but there's a separate joint here in the front skirt, which basically pushes it past this plastic part, and you kind of have to move the side part, the side skirt out of the way just so you can access it. But this whole section will rotate forwards on a little hinge, getting you a way high kick. Really weird how they chose to do that. I think it works fine though. I don't mind it, but that was how it was on the Legend Scale version. So it's interesting that they chose to keep that for the MP size one. But god dang, those hips are really tight. They can rotate up here at the thigh, not too much just because of the limitation of the design, but the knee here is a dual jointed knee, and these are, oh, this is actually not that tight. They can rotate around on that one and rotate on the other knee, or the other knee joint, and you can get just a little bit under 180 degrees, but that's pretty darn good. Of course, down here at the foot, you also have a nice ankle rocker because you used it in the transformation. And there isn't anything for like the toe or the heel, but I think that's fine. Definitely would have been nicer if we had a little something for the toe. But there is everything for his articulation. Pretty good. I mean, obviously it's a Magic Square product. They're always going to have crazy articulation, so there's no surprise there. But I'll take this opportunity to show he can, of course, hold his weapons just fine. There's a little peg on either side of the handle of the weapons, and you just kind of get the hands in whatever orientation you want them in, and then they peg into the hand like so, and then you just kind of wrap the fingers around. There he is with his little gun. And then, of course, you can do the same thing with this one, put it in his hand, but I also wanted to mention that if you push this down, there's this little peg right here and that little receiving hole right here, so you can actually plug it into his forearm if you want to. Alright, and that'll do it for Magic Square's MS-03 Heavy Gunner, their MP scaled, or their MP upscaled version of their Brawl, based off of their Legend size one. It's a really good figure. I really like it. The only thing that I'm not a big fan of is, of course, the still that they're using the dovetails on the hard plastic. It makes transforming him a bit scary. Luckily, this guy's not like, I mean, he's still expensive, don't get me wrong, but this isn't like any type of fans toys or X-Transbots type of piece. So it's definitely a lot more fair for the price, I would say, depending on where you get it, of course. But it's a pretty damn good figure. It is, of course, it's very toon. It's very kind of missing some of the details that a lot of other companies are going for nowadays. And I personally really like it. I like the more toon deco, but I can see how that would be off-putting to people that like a little bit more detail with their figures. But he's really good. His articulation is great. He's a little bit limited on maybe the elbows, and he doesn't have any toe tilts or anything like that for different poses. And the ab crunch can look a little funky, but it kind of looks funky like that on pretty much all figures, and with that kind of gap behind the waist. So it's no big deal to me. But yeah, it has me really excited for the upcoming other upscales that they're going to be doing. Obviously, their upscaled Optimus is really good. I already have their Swindle. I'm going to be reviewing that one probably pretty soon here, and their Onslaught's going to be coming out soon. So yeah, I'm really excited to see where this goes. This might end up being like the definitive Bruticus for your MP collection, depending on if you like this size or not. I'm sorry, it's very windy. It's blowing my house around, but yeah, so really good figure. Total recommend for me. I'm really looking forward to their future releases in this MP line they're going to be doing. But of course, thank you to you watching if you made it this far in the video. Thank you to my patrons that I shouted out at the beginning of the video on the title or on the opening screen. Of course, if you want to check out my Patreon, please do. It's more for, my Armored Core stuff, but it is just another way that you can support me if you feel like checking that out. I would really appreciate it. But also, if you like my reviews, you can check out. I have a couple of playlists, I think, on my channel. Shows off some of the other stuff that I've taken a look at, and of course, I'm going to be reviewing some more of the stuff as it comes out. So keep an eye out for that. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this guy and any of the other MP size Magic Square stuff that's released so far. I'd be interested to hear what you think. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.